The number one question I get in my Instagram DMs is how in the world, as a mom and a business owner, are you doing all of these things and still having balance and still having time and actually living your life and enjoying it? Or is it all just an act and it's complete chaos behind the scenes? Probably a combo of both. It is always a little bit chaotic, but there are simple, easy things you can do every single week to prepare yourself for success. It seems like in our industry of anyone self employed in general, actually, when we're going out, we're showing up to meetings, we're showing up to be ourselves. It's hard because our business is us, right? We wear our heart on our sleeves, we show up, and everything feels personal. And a lot of times we don't show up with that confidence because candidly, we aren't prepared. We didn't practice, we didn't rehearse, we didn't show up the way we needed to. And so we kind of go back into this cave of insecurity because we aren't keeping the promises to ourselves. Well, I created this hacks sheet of simple things I do every single week without fail to make myself prepared so that I can get more done during the day because I can show up and be really, really intentional for 8 hours a day and then go home and be with my family. We've got really little kids at home. So for me, if I'm not done with my day at 5 o'clock, my toddler goes to bed at 7. I only get 2 hours a day with him. If I let it drift to 6 or 6:30, I don't get any time with him. Bedtime routine starts at 6:30. So these are imperative to me not getting anxious during the week, showing up with full intention, and just feeling great and confident in myself for everything I show up in. Um, Instead of just sending out the PDF, I thought it'd be more helpful to talk through it because to try and consolidate this all feels a little bit gibberish. So, um, let's start with work hacks. So, if you're a mortgage or real estate professional, you know it's round the clock. For me, one big issue has been other people on my team have little kids too. And so they have to go pick up from daycare at 4, whatever the case is. And so then dinner time became 100% me, which was totally fine until I also had kids. And so now we have one employee start at 8 who works till 4, and then we have another one who starts at 9 and works to 5. Having this extra coverage in the day of someone who gets a head start and someone who's got a late start makes a huge difference. And then having someone else to back you up on a weekend, I rarely say an entire weekend needs to be given to another employee. But if I have something going on where I really want to be present or not going to have cell service or whatever the case is, I just ask someone on my team, can you cover me on Sunday from 12 till bedtime? And can you just take off 2 hours during the work week? Guess what? A lot of moms are really happy to have 2 hours during the work week for themselves to run to Target. So typically, you're not burdening them at all. Biggest thing, how much time do we spend in our car crabby in traffic? Instead of that being a negative time and a waste of space, this is my most productive time. On my calendar, I literally block, it's called a daily call sheet. And in that sheet, it's just a mark on my calendar for 30 minutes and it has lists of people to call and numbers I can just press and dial. So I get all of my urgent calls done right away in the morning on my way to the office. Any of those people you routinely touch base with, other referral partners, things like that. If I'm in the car, I am on the phone 100% of the time. In fact, I consider it a treat on Fridays if I'm driving somewhere to not call people. That's my fun, entertaining podcast time. Same thing if I'm on a walk with my kids. Sometimes I can get done right at 4, but then I got a couple phone calls to make. I throw them in the stroller and go on a walk and make those extra phone calls. On Sundays, I make sure my car is full of gas. If I need to get my car washed, whatever that is, I like to get everything done for the week. Project tracker. Anytime you have that idea, you're at a conference, you have all of these things that you, as an entrepreneur, everyone has these ideas. They just want to implement, they want to get them done. Easy. Create a shared drive on a Google Doc, a shared note, whatever it is. And every time one of those ideas pops into your head, put it in there with a goal of when you get it done. The key is share it with someone. When you share this with someone, even if you don't have employees, it makes you accountable to it. Share it with your best friend, share it with a peer, whoever it has to be. We create a calendar for all of our marketing and every event we're going to do at the beginning of the year. Sometimes we'll switch the content of the event or sprinkle in new events or switch up the marketing idea, but we have a scheduled placeholder for every single thing starting at the beginning of the year, when we're going to email people, when we're going to mail to them, when we're going to invite them to something, all of those things. So there's no room for error. ahead of doing that, we'll check and we'll say, okay, 2 weeks before, we need to have this done. Is this still what we want to do? Yes. But even if that's not still what we want to do, we still host the event. Maybe we just change the topic. What makes holding events and doing mailers and things like this easier and easier is keeping a recap list. You'll see even on my personal family schedule, if we host a holiday, I host a lunch and learn, I host a client appreciation event, there is a ongoing living Word document that has how many people are attended, how many RSVP'd, so we know our fall off ratio. What time did we do it at? Did last year we have better attendance because we did it at a different time? Is that nap time for people? All of these little details, they live in this document. How much food did we go through? Did people drink beer? Did they drink more wine? Did no one drink anything at all and it was a total waste of money? All of these things we track so that every single year we can get more dialed, more in tuned, who did what, who brought what, all of that. Collaborative collection on Instagram. So, you're scrolling Instagram and you get all these good ideas. I have a archive saved board with Jill on my team who implements a lot of the ideas so that I can save anything I see in there. And then she'll come to me and go, why did you save this? What did you like about this? So that I can share with her more of what I'm trying to get at or what we're trying to work on, etc. And then I know it sounds silly, but literally I hang out my outfits for the entire week based off of my calendar. If it's an in-office day, if I have a big meeting and I want to wear my favorite outfit that day, everything I need is hung up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I can just wake up, grab an outfit and go. With family stuff on Sundays, we talk through who's dropping off kids which days, who's picking up kids, who has volleyball practice, who has baseball practice, who has a doctor's appointment, who's taking who to what. And if there's anything we're stressed out about, if I have a busy day one day and I say, hey, I might be running late this day, can you take on my normal task or whatever that might be? The easiest management tool we have, go order it online, is the Skylight calendar. This is a shared calendar that looks lovely on your countertop and anyone can add to it. You can have chores, you can have what meals you're having every single night, anything like that laid out on the calendar. So we have scheduled chores that the nanny does. Mondays she does laundry, Tuesday she vacuums, Wednesday she organizes the pantry, whatever the case might be. And then everyone in my family can see every single day what's planned for dinner. So that way, if my husband's done with work early and he can get a head start on tacos, he knows, oh, what sides are we having so that it doesn't mess up the schedule for the week. Kids' activities, all of that can go in there. You just do it from your phone, super easy. Same things, holidays, birthdays, things like that. We keep a same running event sheet for all of that. I could tell you exactly who was at Christmas every year for the last 4 years. How much ham did we serve? Did we have a specialty cocktail? Who drank beer? Who drank wine? Who brought desserts? Did someone not eat any of the cookies that I spent 6 hours making and that was a waste of time? Everything is dialed in so that every year it gets a little bit easier and a little bit more enjoyable with that bit of balance in there. But you can still have the same beautiful holiday even though you're crazy busy. On health stuff, at the beginning of the week on Sundays, I double check that I have high protein snacks in my car, in my bag, at my desk. This morning, I had to grab some fresh turkey jerky to throw in my work bag because it was all out. High protein snacks or something that you can quick get a little boost of blood sugar if you need it. So trail mix, whatever, so that you don't find yourself skipping meals too often or just grabbing junk food between meetings. I have a water bottle literally everywhere at every single desk. I should clearly get a new one because this has my old company name on it. Um, in my car, next to my bed, everywhere, I make sure that I have water. And then on Sundays, I meal prep. Sometimes it's not always pretty or the most wonderful meal. This week, I'm having chicken, steamed kale, spinach, and lentils for every single lunch this week because that's what we had in the fridge for me to quick cook up yesterday because today is Monday. And then sometimes I have more time to plan it out and it can be a little bit more fun, but I make sure I have lunches planned. And this lunch is always something that if I had to eat it cold in the car, I absolutely could. Same thing with dinners, everything so that when we get to Friday, you don't feel gross because you've been eating junk food all week. Home, we schedule out all of our preferred vendors for the year. So if you have to have your house sprayed for bugs, Minnesota has terrible box elder bugs. All of these things are done quarterly, booked with the same company, prepaid for. So we know they're just going to come, or we have the reminder on the calendar to book them. And then we have just kind of our go to people for things, our go to people for family photos, our go to people for hanging the holiday decorations on the outside of our house. We're doing the flower boxes in the spring. And at the beginning of the year, here's what it's going to cost. So it's pre-planned into our budget. There's no surprises around it. It's in our household budget. Here's exactly who we use. This is when they come. This is the reminder of when to book them. It makes it way easier throughout the year versus feeling like you're always caught on your heels and behind. This is all going to seem probably overkill and silly, but I swear to you, it saves you so much time and energy and stress from those middle of the night chaotic thoughts. Kid routines. We've got really little kids at home. So sometimes it's a nanny. Sometimes a grandparent has to step in, things like that. I'm leaving for a conference next week and my mom is going to be here. Well, she doesn't normally do bedtime every single night with my little kid. So she needs to have the schedule. We always have the up-to-date schedule of Sawyer eats dinner at this. He does bath time at this time. He goes to bed at this time. This is what he likes for snacks. This is what he does not eat, and you need to watch out for it. All of those things, so that no matter who is watching our kids or has to show up at our house, they could literally look at a list and know exactly what to do. And it's a little bit of work up front, but once it's done, it's incredible. We also have all of them with emergency contact posted in the backboard. And we also have that emergency contact info in all of our vehicles so that if a nanny was taking them somewhere or something, along with some of the neighbors and their phone numbers, etc. The quarterly household tasks I just mentioned, monthly budget meetings. This is something I used to avoid at all costs. And it is something we've totally leaned into. We now do it during the work day. So we'll block time like an actual meeting when kids are at school or with the nanny so that we actually treat this like a true business meeting. And it's a come together of who's on first, who's on second, what's coming, what's going. Both my husband and I are self-employed, which can mean you have a lot of ups and downs financially through the year. We live in Minnesota. Winter months are cold for those who work in real estate. You don't have a ton of people moving, right? Versus spring and summer. And so just tracking to what are our expenses? What major things do we have coming up? Do you have any goals that we want to hit this year or something fun we want to spend money on? And just making sure we're totally in tuned on that every single month. This sounds crazy, but I literally put all of my things in the car for the night before. I don't just pack it up. I literally put them in the car so that when I'm done working out and I'm done getting ready, if I'm running 5 minutes late, there isn't the stress or time for me to forget a computer or forget my tracking binder, anything like that. My pump, my lunch if I can, if it doesn't have to be in the refrigerator, my work bag, any returns, any errands I have to do, anything like that is literally in the car the night before. And then easy things for managing together in a household. I think that's where the biggest frustration comes from on a daily basis is that we're not managing something together. Shared Instacart. I love to go to the grocery store. I wish I could do it and have the time to think of the recipes and all of that. It just is not practical right now with all the kids at home. And so we have a shared Instacart. You run out of something during the week, it gets added to the Instacart. We typically always order from the same places. So they kind of prompt up what you get every single week. So it's that easy. And then we just have a quick conversation on what dinners are we having this week? Do we have enough of this stuff? Done 20 minutes on Sunday and it's delivered, 2 hours later. Same thing with standard grocery shopping lists. We have a lake home that we love to go to. It's a lot of work to pack up for a cabin for a weekend, especially if you're hosting and you're going every weekend. And so when we go to the cabin, we literally have the same set meals we make every single time. And we have a set grocery list of what we need when we're hosting people. So for example, if we're hosting for the weekend on Fridays, if you've been to my cabin, you can attest it is fajita night. So I have exactly what we need for fajitas. I pre-chop the veggies during the week so that when we get there, we can throw it in a crock pot. It can cook during the day and it's quickly ready while I finish work. No big deal. On Sunday morning, we have quiche and fruit and hash browns because it's easy from Trader Joe's. We have all of these things set. So there's literally never any room for error or for us to forget anything. And you can just 100% speed ahead and not have to worry about the in-betweens. And then shared notes. This is, I think, the number one golden thing. If you're not doing this and you have an iPhone, you are missing out with whether it's with an assistant, with your husband, with a friend, whatever the case is. I have a shared note for everything. We have a shared note for important things like birthdays, socials, Delta Sky Miles number, emergency contact information. We have a shared note for things we have to buy. If we're at the cabin and we realize we're out of bug spray there, it goes on the shared note. So if the next person's at Target, they buy it, they delete it off, right? It's very, very cut and dry on all of those things. And we just get little notifications if someone updates things. Um, we have a running note of things that need to get brought to the cabin. We have running notes of things we have to pack for vacation, any of those types of things. And then also house projects and to dos. So often we get 45 minutes or an hour of downtime and we waste it scrolling our phone, or we only have 25 minutes before the next thing. So we don't do anything at all. If you have an easy punch list of stuff that you can get done, you are so much more likely to grab one of those things and check it off the list. Um, and it's just an easy way to keep things moving. And I add things, my husband adds things, and it's amazing how much faster your husband gets things done when it is on this like looming to do punch list of like little things around the house. Like that shelf is tipping weird and I need someone to fix it. I put it on the list. The reality is there's honestly not enough hours in the day, but there is absolutely enough minutes. If we can think of any little tactic to increase our productivity minute by minute, it will give you so much more balance in life. It will make you feel whole inside, that you don't have this chaos in your brain at midnight thinking of the things that you didn't do, and it'll allow you to show up for your workday, for yourself, in your business, and give it 100%. If you have any ideas of hacks that are not on this list that you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear those too. Thanks for watching.